Welcome back to Home Gym Hacks and Reviews. It's been about 4 months since my last tour, and since then quite a bit has changed. Stay tuned for hacks, updates, and more. In my last tour, I mentioned that I was going to sell a lot of my equipment, and I did, about half of everything. So here is the new layout at Home Gym Hacks and Reviews. This is a 2-car garage, which is 22 feet by 22 feet, and it has a 10-foot ceiling. This space really has come a long way in the last 3 years, as I started off with just a power rack in this gym. I upgraded all of my wall art from cloth flags to vinyl banners, and this 2-car garage is attached to the house, and there is a bonus room above the garage, and both of those things help with temperature control. Most of my mirrors came from Marketplace for free or for really cheap, as people were giving them away, and I have a radiant barrier on my garage door, which helps with temperature control also. I have the 6x4 stall mats for flooring, and each mat is taped together with 2-inch Gorilla Tape. You've heard of wall control. Well, this is hole control. Here I have a bump out in the wall, and rather than having a shelf on the floor, I just put it in this bump out, and I store all of the things that I don't use very often. I'll start this tour with the Ironmaster IM2000. I really can't say enough good things about the Smith function of this machine and the machine as a whole. I added 1-inch stickers inside with the slide rails to mark the settings on the IM2000, and I have the ultimate pull-up bar, the bar hooks and safety spotter arms to make this a half rack, a landmine, and band pegs, and I really like that this machine has plate storage along the spine. One of my all-time favorite exercises is the Smith machine incline press, and I really like adding a reverse band to this machine to match the muscle strength profile. The machine is super smooth for a variety of exercises, including shrugs and pushdowns, and one of my favorite hacks in a long time is adding a chain and a roller pad to this machine so that I don't have to sit on the floor any longer to do pull downs. I simply run this through the feet of the lat pull down bar and then put it over my leg, and now I have a way to do seated pull downs. And because the cable attachment is 78 inches high, it allows me to use attachments that are fairly large, like the Prime Fitness rotate handles. Of course, there is the option to get a standalone lat pull down machine, but I really like using the IM2000 for cable exercises. If you've ever used this machine, you know how smooth it is, and it has a 1-to-1 pulley ratio, a 250-pound weight capacity on the pulley system, a 1,000-pound weight capacity on the Smith bar, and because the footprint is 4x4, and because you can load down the spine of this machine with plates, it's going to be as rock solid as any lat pull down machine. This is the Titan Fitness dumbbell shelf, and it's one of the first pieces that I got for this garage gym. I really like being able to walk in between the shelves and grab my heavy dumbbells as opposed to reaching in front of my body and pulling them back, which could stress the lower back to some degree. I thought about adding another machine here, but I really like having this for my logbook and a spot where I start all of my dumbbell work. Here I have the Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer, and yes, there are newer and nicer functional trainers than this one, but I really like this because of the cable's origin site. It's not too narrow and it's not too wide. I really like having the pull-up bar. And since I cut grooves into the pulley housing and added the cable extenders, this is a great machine. I use it a lot for lateral raises and this tricep exercise. It also serves as a rock solid place to use my TRX because of the 200-pound weight stack and because of the way the machine's feet are designed. This is the Super Bench Pro version 1, and I really like the 17-inch height on this bench. And here are all of the attachments in the vertical organizer, which is a great space saver. It also gives me a spot to put a lot of my other attachments. The Super Bench Pro is incredibly versatile and well made, and here I'm using the dip attachment, and I also really like the leg extension and leg curl attachment. And if you want to use that attachment and have back support and handles, all you need to do is pull the bench into the IM2000 or a squat rack where there is a bar, and here I put a pad on the bar just to make it a little more comfortable. And then I looped a daisy chain under the bench, added handles, and I have a place to hold on. This is the Bodymaster's MD216 low back machine. It's a pretty unique looking machine, but I don't do deadlifts, so I really like having this machine. I got this for $500 off of Craigslist. I feel this machine in my lower back, I feel it in my glutes, hamstrings, and even my calves. In my last tour, I had the Rogue Rhino tucked into the corner, but I've since moved it out to increase the machine's versatility. I mainly use it for belt squats, and I have 2 different stances that I assume. On my quad dominant day, I have a narrow stance, and on my hamstring dominant day, I have a wide stance, and in that wide stance, I can move a lot more weight. The Rhino is also great for calf raises, and here I have the Ironmaster calf block. It's great for split squats using the Titan Fitness single leg squat roller, and it's good for chest supported rows, curls, and this exercise I like a lot called the Y. Here are my 4 Fettle Fitness pieces of equipment. Starting with the ISO row, this machine is built like a tank. On my upper back pull days, I do the overhand grip, and on my lat dominant days, I do a neutral grip. There is the option to stand and do one arm at a time, but I find with my HIIT style of training Doing one limb at a time is hard on recovery. This is the Fettle bench press, and it's awesome with its converging arms. I added yoga blocks so that I could start with my hands a little further away from my body, and then I added this foam to the frame so that I could do a stop and go, and I found this to be much easier on my shoulders. And for this training session, I had the seat lowered all the way down, and it allows me to do a great incline press. The Fettle pull down is next. I've started using this machine with the seat all the way down and the Angles 90 grips attached. On upper back days, I use an overhand grip, and on my lat emphasis days, I use an underhand grip. And here is the Fettle pendulum. This is easily one of my best made machines. I waited a while for this because it was on back order, but when I got it, it did not disappoint. So very little weight is needed to light up the quads, and the reverse band offers just the right amount of assistance in the bottom of the squat. In my last tour, I had some mismatched dumbbells, but since then, my dad hooked me up with all of the originals and the 100-pound dumbbells, and I have the Ironmaster Quick Lock adjustable dumbbells to get me over the 100-pound mark. Moving on to my Nautilus line of strength training equipment. The Nautilus 2ST Super Pullover is one of my most prized machines. I use this on my lat emphasis training days, but I wish I could use it every day because it feels so effective. And Dorian Yates has said that this machine is the most important piece of strength training equipment ever made. The torso arm is next. This is from the 1980s. It's the next generation line. It feels pretty effective, although the cam seems a bit tough in the last few inches of the contraction. If I had to sell any machine, this would be the first to go, but I only paid $200 for it on Craigslist. Here is the super rare Nautilus compound position curling machine. This is circa 1972. It was passed down to me from my dad, and I do think my arms have grown a little bit since using it. This is the Cybex abductor-adductor machine. I mainly got this for the adductor exercise, but I'm really happy to have this in my gym because it's kind of hard to train the adductor muscles with cables. You may have noticed I didn't show a power rack, any barbells, or even specialty bars, and that's because I don't have any. I sold them all. I would much rather work my chest with the Powertec multi-press, dumbbells, or the Fettle Fitness bench press, and I would much rather work my legs with the Rogue Rhino or the Fettle Fitness pendulum squat. Now let's head into the Powertec gym. If this spare bedroom was the only space I had for a home gym, this is the exact setup I would have to cover all of my bases. This is an 11-foot by 13-foot room with an 8-foot ceiling. At one point it was a spare bedroom, and then it became the Ironmaster gym, and now it's the Powertec gym, and it's a great place to train when the garage is super cold. I recently reviewed the multi-press, and I have another video about building the spare bedroom gym, so I won't spend a lot of time on this portion of the video, but the lever gym offers so much variety with its pulley system and lever arms, and the multi-press provides a better flat press and decline press than the lever gym. The hyper extension crunch allows me to do horizontal, 45-degree hip and back extensions, glute ham raises, and ab work, and this weight tree is one of the nicest weight trees I have ever seen. In my Powertec gym, I have my bodybuilding DVD collection, which I've been collecting for about 20 years, my Ronnie Coleman Iron Idol, and all of my bodybuilding books, and most of these are HIIT training books, and some rare and hard to find books like Mike Mentzer's Heavy Duty. Moving upstairs to my bonus room. This is an 11-foot by 22-foot room with an 8-foot ceiling. This is where I put everything I can't fit in the garage. Starting with the Rogue Echo bike, I don't like this machine, but it's incredibly well made, and if I want the shortest, most intense cardio workout I can get, this is it. The Concept 2 rower is incredibly well made, and it's great for a variety of cardio sessions, but I enjoy using the ski erg the most. There's something about it that's just fun when done for short periods. This is the AbCore. It's a pretty cool machine, and it's better than getting on the floor to do ab exercises. The Titan Fitness Tibia Dorsey machine is very well made, and it allows me to work some muscles that would otherwise be neglected, and the XMark Fitness seated calf raise is a great place to sit to perform this exercise. I've had this machine for 4 or 5 years, and I still think this is one of the best made residential grade calf raise machines. And here's my Titan line of equipment. At one point I had about 25 Titan Fitness pieces, and I ended up selling most of them, but I really stand by these three, starting with the Pec Fly rear delt machine. Here I have my ab straps attached to the handles, and this just helps me cross the center line of my body as my hands come together. And here is the Titan Fitness seated leg extension leg curl machine. Adding a 25 or 35 pound plate to that stop pin completely transforms this machine, and it greatly improves the resistance profile for both exercises. Lastly, I've always said the Titan Fitness HP&D is the best made, most overbuilt Titan machine. It's good for a ton of hacks, and I really believe in the reverse hyper exercise. As this channel continues to grow, I get requests to review things like strength band systems and some tech, and I'm on the fence about reviewing things that I really wouldn't use in my own training routine because I want all of my reviews to be as authentic as possible. I also think it's important to mention that if I review something, it shows up again and again so you all can see how well it holds up over time. And if you want any more information about any of the machines that I review today, I have standalone reviews for everything. No gym tour is complete without showing the gym dogs. Are y'all ready to eat? Greyhounds really are couch potatoes, and it's hard to believe, but these two have a top speed of 45 miles an hour. My wife and I rescued them from a track about 5 years ago. Thank you so much for watching my home and garage gym tour. If you found anything helpful, please consider liking the video and leaving a comment. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. You can find me on other social media platforms at Home Gym Hacks and Reviews. And if any of my videos or reviews have helped you, please consider using one of my affiliate links that can be found in the description of this video. Some of those links can save you some money. And remember, if your equipment lacks, I got the hacks. Take care, everyone.